Kelly. Welcome back to another YouTube video. Today we are going to talk about all the books that I read in the month of February, which is not a lot, but we're still going to talk about them. I had a total of 6 books on my TBR, but I only read 3 of them, which is okay. I like to tell myself that since February is a shorter month, that's why I did not get to a lot of books. That's my excuse. But I did read 3 books. I did not get to 3 books. Let's talk about the 3 books I did get to. Here are some bookish stats for the 3 books that I read. I had a mix of genres. I had a YA book, a fiction or general fiction book, and then I had a mystery book. So if you watched my setting up my February TBR, you probably know which ones I'm talking about. But if you did not, this is gonna be exciting and fun and a treat for you. And out of the 3 books, the range of my ratings was the lowest was a 3-star, while the highest was a 4.75 star. Let's go ahead and talk about the books I read. The first book I finished in the month of February was The Maidens by Alex McLeodies. This is a psychological thriller or mystery, a psychological suspense that weave together Greek mythology, murder, and obsession. Now, I actually have not read any other Alex McLeodies books. This is my first one. I know he is really well known for The Silent Patient, and he also has The Fury as well. There might be another that I'm thinking of, but I'm not remembering the title off the top of my head. But I was going into this as someone who loves Greek mythology, thinking that it was going to play more of a bigger part, but it just seemed to be like a background plot to it of like, since they're on a university campus, the professor teaches Greek mythology, or yeah, he teaches Greek mythology. So it wasn't like the forefront of the story, it was more of like subplot of like, hey, by the way, Greek mythology is going to be thrown into this. So it wasn't like that big of a thing. I love Greek mythology, but it didn't like drive the story that much. I mean, there was parts of like of it being mentioned, but again, wasn't like the biggest thing in the story. I thought for the writing, it seemed a little slow, and I also don't know if that was a me problem or the book's problem of it being slow. I feel like it just dragged on, and I thought I had the twist figured out, but then by the time it confirmed that the twist was what it was, I just got the ick. Yeah, I got the ick. I kind of was suspecting it, but then like when it was finally announced what the twist was, I was just like, ew. Like, kind of just got this like gross, yucky taste in my mouth, basically. To be honest, it was a little bit boring. Like I said, the twist was just yucky. I just didn't really find it like shocking, and I found it more disturbing and just gross. Overall, I think that the vibe of this was supposed to be like a dark academia suspense book, but I just was left with feeling disturbed and wishing I really didn't read it, to be honest, because it was just kind of boring. I rated this 3 stars. This was my lowest rating. Maybe if you're into slow-paced, dark academia type books, you might really enjoy this, but I rated this a 3. Now thinking back, maybe even like a 2.5. I don't know, somewhere around there, between that range, 2.5, 3 star. But yeah, that's The Maidens by Alex McLeodies. Dude, okay, the next book is Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins that I read, and I picked it up and I realized my book is peeling. Like, what? I've never seen this before. Like, the cover is peeling. What the heck? Okay, I might have to get some glue or something, or just get a whole new book. But that I've never seen. I literally just picked it up. Why is it peeling? Please don't. The next book Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins, the last and final book in the Hunger Games trilogy, and wow, what a end to this trilogy. I was going into it like, okay, how are we, what's gonna happen? How are we gonna wrap this up? Like, I have my ideas, I have some suspicions, I have some thoughts, but let's see what happens. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It definitely had a lot more of like the relationship aspect with Katniss and everyone around her and like the emotion, while Catching Fire was a lot more action packed, which I really loved. Still have not watched the movie, by the way. But I feel like Catching Fire was a lot of action and like really high stakes, while this was like lots of emotion and relationships growing and changing. And I really loved the drive of Katniss and Peeta's relationship in this book. I thought it was just beautifully done by Suzanne Collins, and towards the end of the story I definitely was like getting a little emotional with some characters and things that happened, and how she kind of wrapped it up was just so nicely done. And it's super exciting to be able to now go into a different point of view of Hunger Games with Haymitch's story, I believe, is what the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and Sunrise on the Reaping, that trilogy that she's working on or has been out for a little bit, the newest addition to the Hunger Games world. I thoroughly enjoyed this ending of this trilogy. It was very nice. I rated this a 4-star. I think my favorite from the trilogy is Catching Fire. Like I said, lots more action. This more emotional, wrapping up, you know, the story of them, and yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. So I'm excited to watch now both the movies and then hopefully someday get into the next books in the Hunger Games universe. And the last and final book that I read this month, which was probably my most anticipated to read this year from my 2026 TBR, and it is Beartown by Fredrik Backman, and it did not disappoint. I love everything this man writes. I don't know. I literally started watching interviews with him. Like, I found out he was on Jimmy Fallon like a couple months ago, which is kind of funny because he does not seem like the guy to go on talk shows, but he mentioned that in his interview. But I watched his interview, and then I watched some other interviews with him, and he is just such an intriguing man. Like, how he seems very introverted, of like not wanting to speak at big public events, but like can write these like emotional raw stories. Crazy. So again, favorite author, love him. One of my favorite authors, I should say, not favorite, but he is up there in like the top 5. I love everything he writes. This is a beautiful written story. I was going into this about hockey, a small town that's obsessed with hockey. That's all I knew about this story, and boy, yes, it is about that, but it has a lot more to it, just because Fredrik Backman's got to add something to it, right? It covers community, it covers trauma, it covers loyalty and power, and the way he writes, it's just so good. And it's shown, the story's shown in like a third person point of view, so it feels like you're just like this all-seeing eye watching this town that loves hockey, and you're going into each person's house and seeing what they're doing at that time, and it's so interesting. Like, I don't know, it just felt like I was like cutting into people's lives and seeing what was happening at that very moment, while in a different house down the street or outside in a hockey rink, this is what's happening at that time. So I just love that he was able to like portray that perspective as a third person point of view. And it feels like these were real people's lives. Like, it felt like this is a real town somewhere in Canada where this happened. Like, this is a real event. It felt like it was a real life story that he is just retelling to us. Once I hit the 50% mark where we find out something pretty big, I could not put this book down. I straight up was like, I have to finish this book. I need to know what happens, because it starts off with kind of like a mystery of like, huh, how are we gonna get to this point? So I was just like, once we got to the 50%, I'm like, okay, I have this idea in my head, let's see if it plays out, and I just had to keep reading. So it's definitely like a bingeable read, I would say. It is heavy, so check trigger warnings for this book. Like I said, I went into it kind of blind, and when it happened, I was just like, oh, this is where we're going with this book. And I'm definitely gonna continue on the series because this was so good. I'm thinking back, like maybe I rated it a 4.75, but I'm going back and I'm thinking and I'm like, maybe it is a 5-star. I might have to sit with it for a little bit. It might change to a 5-star by the end of the year. But right now I put a 4.75. So it might change. Who knows? Now for the 3 books that I did not get to this month, I again am blaming the short month for not getting to these, but hopefully at some point this year some of these books will get read. Hopefully, like I keep saying. The first one is A Court of Wings and Ruin. This is the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series. I don't have a copy of it, and I think that's the main reason why I didn't get to it, because if I saw it, I would be like, oh yeah, I have to read that. But since I didn't, I kind of forgot about it. So my bad. And it's also maybe just like I read one ACOTAR book a year. Maybe that's how it goes. I'm not sure. But did not get to that. Another book I'm kind of upset that I did not get to was Shatter Me by Tara Mafi. I really want to read this sometime this year. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I did not get to this. But I will read it, okay? I'm manifesting into the air of I will read it this year. I will read it this year. And the last book I did not get to was The First to Die at the End by Adam Silvera. Silvera, my bad. I had no interest. So maybe, I'm just gonna be honest, I might just get rid of both these books because I don't even think I'm going to read them. Yeah, I don't know. Should I read this? Should I read them? The like First to Die at the End and not the First to Die at the End. They both die at the end. Like, should I read those? I don't know. I feel like the hype has died on them and they're kind of just meh. And there's better things I could read. So if you've read any of those books, just let me know if I should read it, because then I'll keep them. But maybe I just will get rid of them because they're holding up so much space, especially this one. This one's thick. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up and also make sure you subscribe. I post videos once a week, whether it's bookish content like this, lifestyle vlogs, kind of whatever I'm in the mood for. So if you like what you're seeing, you should go ahead and subscribe. That's about it. Thanks for watching. Bye!